Hi everyone, my name is Almira and I am an organizer with Direct Action Everywhere, which is a grassroots animal rights network based in Berkeley, California, but we have chapters all over the world. And I'm an activist because I know that all animals deserve to live safe, happy, and free. They experience pain and joy, they're conscious, they want to have autonomy over their own bodies, they are individuals just like us, and they are exploited on a scale that we've never seen before in history. And there's relatively few people speaking up for them, and so I believe it's my moral obligation to speak up against injustice and to take action for animals, a group of victims that a lot of people don't even think about in their day-to-day life, and that is why I'm an animal rights activist. And I want to share 5 tips for you to be the best activist you can be. And my first tip, and probably like the most important tip that I have, is don't be alone. Find a community. All of the things that we've been able to accomplish at Direct Action Everywhere are because there are a lot of people taking part and everyone has their role to play. And with a community, we can do so much more. To an extent, this is a numbers game. So the more people we can have active out on the streets, the better chance we have of making change for animals. And not only is that just effective, having a community is something that is going to provide support, emotional support, relationship support, friendships, and family, because this is hard work and doing it alone is so much harder. So my number one tip is don't be alone. Find a community of like-minded people that will take action for animals with you. My second tip is that you should set goals and hold yourself accountable to whatever your goals are. I think a lot of us are going to have different goals depending on the type of activism that speaks to us, but one thing that I think is really important is that we take activism seriously, that it's more than just a hobby that we like to do for fun. It is something that is really important. It is a social justice movement. So at a job or a business or a corporation, people would have goals and they would have criteria and be held accountable to that. And I think activism and animals and animal rights is much more important than any corporation. And so we should take this seriously. We should set goals, have important milestones, strategic plans, all of that stuff, and hold ourselves accountable to it. Because not only will we achieve more, we will then communicate to the rest of the world how seriously we take this issue, because it's really important. My third tip is to learn from other movements. I think that animal rights is a social justice movement, and there are many other social justice movements out there that are important as well, that have occurred in the past or that are occurring right now, and we can learn so much from their successes and their failures. And sometimes I think we find ourselves too much in our little animal rights bubble, and it's important that we go out there and learn. So in the United States, especially learning from the Black Lives Matter movement, the women's suffrage movement, the gay rights movement, the Stop the Dakota Access Pipeline, all of these movements have so much to teach us, and we should be humble enough to learn from them and learn from their mistakes and learn from their successes and see how we can apply them to animal rights. My fourth tip is that push yourself every day, if you can. I know it's difficult to speak up a little bit for animals. If you go in the grocery store, consider saying something. If you're walking by and see an advertisement that's promoting exploitation, say something to the person that's walking by. And honestly, I don't think this is necessarily that effective at changing that person, but what I have found is that it is extremely effective at growing your own confidence and growing your own convictions and strengthening your resolve to fight for animals. So pushing yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone, the more you do it, the easier it's going to become, to the moment where you're going to be at a protest and you're going to have to say something and they're going to hand you the megaphone and you will know exactly what to say because you've practiced so much. And my last tip is to find the joy in activism and in being around animals. This is a movement that sees so much suffering, so much violence, and it's hard to find joy when we know that every little victory we have, there's still millions of animals being killed. And I think it's important that we acknowledge that and don't delude ourselves that everything is great. But at the same time, if we don't find those moments of joy, I think we're just not going to attract people to our movement, because people want to be where it's fun and positive, and also we're going to burn out. So do what you can to find joy, be with other animals, be with other activists, celebrate those victories, have a dance party, whatever it is, to bring some joy into your life and into your activism, because I know that this world is really hard. So those are 5 tips that I have. I am always learning more as an activist, and I hope that you will continue to learn more as an activist, and that whatever you do, you continue to go out there. Whatever your form of activism is, you're out there on the streets talking to people, doing outreach, on social media, protesting, caring for animals. All of that is valuable, and I thank you so much for everything that you're doing for the animals and for this movement. And if you're interested in learning more about Direct Action Everywhere, you can go to directactioneverywhere.com and find out how you can join a chapter, start a chapter, or just see a little bit more about what we do and why. Have an awesome end of the year and a happy new year.